Hello, science fans! A scientific abstract is like the trailer of a movie, giving a quick and exciting preview of the research that you've done. It's a short and sweet summary that tells you what the study is about without revealing all the details, making it a sneak peek into the fascinating world of scientific exploration. Given this, the abstract is a very important part of any scientific paper or proposal. But there are a lot of misconceptions about it. One common misconception is thinking that the abstract has all the answers. In reality, it's more like a map, guiding you into the research landscape but not unveiling every detail. Another misconception is that abstracts are complex. On the contrary, they're designed to be concise, offering a snapshot of the research study without overwhelming your audience with too much jargon. Lastly, some might believe abstracts are optional, but they are crucial for quickly assessing the relevance and content of a scientific paper. So, how do we write an abstract that goes all in? Well, before I answer this question using science, let me first say hi to our new viewers. My name is Chona and I'm your resident Filipino scientist. I'm a researcher in the field of molecular ecology, and publishing papers has always been a hard requirement in our field. I'm also a teacher, which has given me a lot of opportunity to improve how I write and how I teach science writing. And SHE-ensya is my science communication channel, where I make videos that can help STEM students and teachers with their science journey. So, abstracts. When will you ever need to write one? Abstracts are essential for various types of science articles, including research papers, reviews, and conference proceedings. Abstracts for research papers typically include objectives, methods, results, and conclusions. They provide a short but complete overview of the study's purpose, the methods employed, major findings, and the significance of the results. An abstract for a review article is a little different, because a review is like a comprehensive guidebook that summarizes and discusses existing literature on a particular topic to make it more understandable. Abstracts for review articles then summarize the scope of the review, the main topics covered, and often highlight key findings from existing literature. They may also emphasize the importance of the review in the broader context of the field. Abstracts for conference presentations are short but impactful summaries of the study or research to be presented. They also outline the objectives and the methods, and sometimes the anticipated results for studies that are not completed yet, offering a preview to the conference attendees. They're very similar to the abstracts of research papers, but are often worded to attract people to watch the presentation of the paper. In essence, the specific content and emphasis of the abstract depends on the nature of the science article, with each type tailored to efficiently communicate the essential aspects of that particular piece of work. Writing an abstract may sound like a big deal, but it's just like creating a summary of a cool story or an experiment that you did. So how do you do it? Before writing anything, you might want to sit down and clarify your thoughts. Just like in a story, you need to know the key parts of your research. What's the problem that you're trying to solve? How did you try to solve it? What did you find, and why is it important? From there, distill the most iconic part of your study. I mean, every good story or experiment has a point, right? Explain why your research is like the coolest adventure and how it adds something important to the big world of science. Now, once all these previous items are clear to you, you can now start writing. Organize your abstract into sections, like what's the problem, how I tried to solve it, what I discovered, and why it's a big deal. It makes your abstract easy to follow, like chapters to a book. When writing, imagine you're telling a friend about a great movie, but you only have 1 minute. You'd share the most exciting parts, right? Same goes for an abstract. Keep it brief, maybe between 150 to 300 words, but cover the essentials. And don't forget to look up the rules or instructions from your teacher, the conference, or the journal that you're writing for, so that you're sure of the word limit. There are some considerations you should keep in mind while writing your abstract. Instead of using fancy or technical words, use simple words that you would use if you're trying to explain your topic to a friend who has no idea about what you're talking about. If you have to use a technical term, make sure that you take a moment to explain it in simpler terms. And in terms of simplifying scientific technical terms, imagine that you're sharing a secret code with your friend. You want to let them know the meaning of it without completely breaking the code. Scientific terms are a bit like that code. In terms of simplifying scientific terms, here are some tips to break down that secret code that might just be understandable between you and your science friends. First, break down the big word into smaller parts. For example, if you see a word like photosynthesis, photo means light and synthesis means to make. So photosynthesis is plants making food using light. Another consideration is to replace the big words with one you use every day. Instead of respiration, you can say breathing. Instead of photosynthetic organisms, say plants and algae. You can also connect the tricky word to something that you already know. If you're talking about enzymes, you could say they're like tiny helpers in your body that make things happen, just like chefs in a kitchen. By doing these things, you make the complicated words easier to understand, like breaking a secret code into normal language. The level of simplicity, of course, depends on your audience. If you're presenting in class, the simpler the language that you use, the more you showcase your deep understanding of the topic being covered. If you're presenting to a panel of experts, such as in a conference, then use simple but professional terminologies just in case your audience have different fields of specialization. Oh, remember, if you have abbreviations, make sure to provide their meaning or to spell them out. Again, pretend you're explaining a secret code to your friends so they can understand what you're talking about. And just like in a movie, you don't really have to give every single detail. Stick to the exciting parts that make your research stand out. Before submitting or finalizing the topic, try to share your abstract to a friend who might not be very familiar with the research that you did. If they get it, you're on the right track. If they're confused, you might need to tweak a couple of things. If you follow these general guidelines, writing an abstract should be straightforward and exciting. However, sometimes when people get too excited, they jumble up the order of the story. Make sure your abstract has a clear beginning, middle, and end, just like a good book. Also, forgetting to explain why your research matters is like telling a joke without the punchline. Help your readers understand the big deal behind your work. And most importantly, don't be afraid to share your abstract with your friends or your teacher to get feedback. They can help you make it even more awesome. But what do you think? What parts of writing an abstract do you find most difficult? Do you think arranging your abstract into sections would be useful? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below.